Perfect day. Perfect day to get out on the water. Vlasic was the director of the Art Institute of Chicago. For 30 years, he loved Winter Park. He retired here, and after he passed, this became a museum. He was a sculptor, and you can see his work in the yard and then in the house as well. And as of a few years ago, you get two for the price of one. That is the Capon House. It is the oldest home to be built on the lakes, built in 1885. No elephants, but sometimes a brontosaurus. Has an opportunity free of charge to do some yoga on the canal. It is mandatory because the water is very high and you will hit your head if you don't sort of lean over. I don't do the decapitation cruise. That's someone else. There's in the area where the Mizell family, they were back in 1858. They named that lake after their name, and then they named this Lake Virginia because they were originally from Virginia, and there was nobody here to tell them not to do it. So that's how we got the name of this lake. Sort of a clubhouse for the gentlemen of Winter Park to get together and sip brandy and smoke cigars. But then Rollins College bought it. Rollins is across the lake. We'll be getting a photo. And as we get a better look at it, this is a rare chance to see what the lakes used to look like back in the 10s, 20s, 30s, 40s, and even into the 50s. What you would have, that's a 50-acre nature preserve owned by Rollins College, stretches all the way to the golf course. And this is what it would have looked like. You would have an estate, and then you would have maybe 20, 30 acres of old growth, beautiful, and then another estate. So I like to think of it as sort of Great Gatsby, lakeside. There were an enormous number of wealthy people who came here. It was a winter playground. It's one of the first planned communities in the United States. One of the founding fathers of the United States founded the state of Connecticut. This college is an 80-acre campus that was ranked in the top 5, I believe it was last year, by Princeton Review, most beautiful campuses. It's the most portable walking campus. We have a Matisse, a Picasso. It's extraordinary, and that is also not only open to the public but also free of charge. So you can make a nice afternoon at Rollins. So the house that you're about to see is the Brewer Estate. It was built in the 1890s. Mr. Brewer was one of the largest carriage manufacturers in the United States. He came down here, he fell in love with Winter Park, and he wanted his wife to move here. They were from Portland, New York. So what he did was he built an exact replica of their home in Portland, New York. This is the Brewer Estate. You have to imagine that there would be nothing on either side but woods. That house has 8 bedrooms, 7 bathrooms, servant's kitchen, another full kitchen, and a ballroom. And those are for purple martins, and they come here every spring. I guess it's around about an 8,000-mile trip from Brazil to right here. Yeah, it's amazing. Every single year, I think they return to the place of their birth every year. That's a long flight. This was the last house that he designed. It was built in 1950, and it's a Bermuda colonial design. That's why you see those little fishtails up on top of the chimneys. In the islands, you have to conserve water. Wow, look at that! I've got to stop. Just look at that fish hog. So beautiful. So they would actually have cisterns at the base of the chimneys, and the water would drip down into those. Features of this house, every room has a view of the lake and then the beach. And you're not allowed to do that anymore. They just hauled in some sand and made it. That's against the code. You know, I just don't want anyone to scream out, because I made the mistake about warning people at the side, and someone just blood curdles to scream out, and then other people start to panic. On your right, you have to lean in. Yeah, no. Reminds me a little bit of the Great Gatsby Lakeside, and it's hard to see this, but this is another historic building in Winter Park. Through the break, called yellow structure, there's a red tile roof. That is the old Hotel Alabama on Alabama Drive. Margaret Mitchell has said you've written the last 2 chapters of Gone with the Wind. There, Upton St. Clair, the Nobel Prize winning novelist, stayed there. 4 presidents that I can name. It was quite the glamour spot back in the day. The last president to stay there was Ronald Reagan, I believe. Now it is a luxury condominium complex. And then we get a little bit more of Winter Park's past. This is, I mentioned, the James Gamble Rogers, great architect from Winter Park. This is one of his homes here. And what can I say about that lawn? Just unbelievable. It seems to me that's like the kind of a lawn you would see in England. Yeah. Just gorgeous. And this is Winter Park president. This is, it's more and more like this is a big house on that side. Shoulder to shoulder. That one is you okay? I asked out of politeness, there's nothing I can do. The house on the right is called The Moon and the Stars. It was built in 1920. The man who built, he loved Venice, the Venetian canals, so he wanted to bring that to Winter Park. When it was originally built, there was no strip of linoleum all the way up to the house. And out in Venice, right? And so he came out one day and found his grandchildren jumping off the balconies, and so he had this put on installed. This is an island. It's 12 acres, 11 acres, so there was some kind of Italian thing going along this peninsula. TV show over 30 years worth of national public television for children. Very beloved television show. And you could be Mr. Rogers' neighbor. I don't know what it's like today. 2 weeks ago, getting all the famous artists to come down.